guides or ghost walkers vied for business, but things were clearly getting out of hand. "Look," he continued firmly, "all of you form an orderly queue and calmly report your grievances to Sergeant Chang. Any more disruption, and I'll be on the phone to the council and have the lot of you shut down." With that, he stalked away, followed by the sound of grumbling from the ghost walkers. He made his way along the corridors and up the stairs. The station was strangely quiet. He couldn't see another officer anywhere. The canteen was in darkness, and every room he passed was empty. Never mind the ghost walkers he'd left behind. Today, this whole place felt like a ghost town. When he reached his own office, he flicked on the light, took off his battered old wax jacket and hung it on the back of the door. Despite moving in over 15 years ago, there was nothing in the office to show it belonged to Shadow. No photographs, pot plants, or mugs with amusing slogans. It only contained the desk with a telephone, 2 chairs, and a filing cabinet. Usually his desk was covered in a clutter of notes and post-its hoping for a response, but mostly ignored. However, this morning it was completely clear. With nothing to do and nobody clamouring for his attention, he stood at his window for a moment and took in the view. The police station was housed in what was once the city's medieval guild hall and stood next to the River Ouse. The sun glistened on the water below, and today it was quiet enough to hear the honk of the geese flying low beneath Lendal Bridge and the rhythmic splash of the rowers' oars as they glided by. If he turned his head to the left, he could see Ouse Bridge, and beyond that, Skeldergate Bridge. A little further along the riverbank from there, Florence was waiting for him. Florence was the red and black narrowboat that had been his home for almost 30 years. She had been moored in the same spot since the two of them had left London and the Met behind and returned instead to Shadow's home city. With a sigh, he turned away from the window and back to his desk. He began rummaging through the drawers in the hope of finding an unfinished crossword to occupy him. He may as well make the most of all this peace and quiet. After closing the 3rd drawer without any success, he paused and listened. He could hear the soft, quick sound of trainer-clad feet jogging down the corridor. They stopped outside his office, and there was a cheerful rat-a-tat-tat on the door. "Come in, Jimmy," Shadow called out. Sure enough, the door opened, and in stepped the tall, dark, floppy-haired figure of Sergeant Chang. As usual, he was dressed in jeans and a black leather jacket, and was holding his electronic notebook under his arm and a takeaway coffee in his hand. "Did you manage to get that rabble downstairs dealt with?" Shadow asked, as he began searching through the last drawer. "Yes and no, Chief. They've all gone, but I think some of their complaints are valid and will need to be investigated." Fine. "Hand all the information over to uniform," replied Shadow dismissively. Well, you see," began Jimmy. "Where is everyone, anyway?" interrupted Shadow, closing the drawer with a bang. "They've all gone on a 2-day team-building exercise in the Dales. It was the Chief Constable's idea. She thought it would be good for morale, and this seemed like the quietest time. The races have all finished. It's just before Halloween, bonfire night, and the balloon festival. Then, after that, we've got the start of St. Nick's Fair and the busy run-up to Christmas." "Thank you, Sergeant," replied Shadow irritably. "I am well aware of York's calendar of events. I am, however, surprised that nobody bothered to mention that practically the whole station was planning to disappear off to the countryside for 2 days." Jimmy shifted uncomfortably. "The Chief Constable did email you several times about her plans, I believe." Shadow tutted. "What's the point of that? She must know by now I don't read those damn..."